guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now it is that time of the year where we start to reassess and look at all of the things that we've been given to by Hutch since the start of the calendar year. I won't say given, I mean technically we literally we were given the Tri-Series, but we had to work for the prizes. But the Tri-Series were always there for us to compete in. So we've had a lot of Tri-Series so far. It's already mid-October, it's almost mid-October, which is crazy when you think about it. Less than 2 months. Well, actually, no, I can't count. November and December is a full 2 months. Less than 3 months till the end of 2022. I do believe that we're only going to be seeing at most, maybe 9 to 10 prize cards. In terms of Tri-Series go, I think there are only about 9 Tri-Series left when you think about it. How many weeks are left in the year? Every Tri-Series is every 2 weeks. You can do the math for that. I think there are 2 Tri-Series in a month, and there are 2 months to go. I think like 9 or 10. I want to say 10 more prize cards to go. So at least when it comes from a Tri-Series standpoint. So it was a good time to really look back and reflect at every single prize card we've gotten this year. I might do another video on this right at the end in December, but usually I'm busy around that time, so I decided to make it now. So everything that you see over here are all the prize cards that we have gotten in the calendar year of 2022, all starting from the Chrysler 300 Glacier Edition all the way down to the W Motors that we just got, I think, a couple days ago. So without further ado, I'm going to be assessing this in my personal opinion, how useful these cards have been since they've been released this year. So here are the rankings. We have great value. These are cards where, I mean, Walmart, don't sue me, okay, but we got great value. These are the cards that have provided, well, as it says in the name, a lot of value in your garage. You used it a lot, it won you a lot, or at least it was available in a lot of events for you to use, and it was the best car in many situations. Second one is provides value. These are cards that will be useful in many events, not all the time, but you will be happy to have them. Second one is it has its moments. These are cards where they're definitely strong, or they definitely have some kind of pedigree, but they aren't super useful in the game for one reason or another. Then we have collecting dust. Collecting dust. These are cards that you barely ever touch. And then we have question mark, which is basically, oh my god, this car was released this year, wasn't it? Like, that's a massive surprise. Also, why is the Audi over here and why is the Mitsubishi over here? You guys are not supposed to be there. But yeah, these are the cars where, you know, why is it there? I totally forgot it was even given out this year. That's exactly what that rank is for. So anyway, let us begin with the Chrysler 300 Glacier Edition. It's 4-wheel drive, it has standard tires, decent handling, and medium ground clearance, right? I would say that it has its moments because it isn't the best in its niche. Definitely during the first half of the year, especially during the introduction of JPT, when you had that Subaru Legacy running around. Obviously, that's not an issue anymore because it's an Epic now, but there are still cars like the Honda Legacy, which are Honda Legend, sorry, Honda Legacy. Subaru lovers are gonna kill me for that. Sorry, chicken. But yeah, the Honda Legend, which is still the better car. Not that being said, the Chrysler 300 is still a pretty good car. It has its moments. It's exactly what it is. Second one is the Rimac Nevera. I think a lot of people think that the Rimac Nevera is a car that provides value, and that may be the case, but like I said, this list is in my opinion, and the main reason why I put it in provide value and not great value is because I'm not in pain not having it. I don't own the Rimac Nevera. I was having a great New Year's and I didn't even play Top Drives during the time when the car came out. I don't have it, and honestly, for a car to be in great value, I need to be in a world of pain, you know, to not own one. And honestly, not having the Rimac Nevera, yes, obviously your garage is way better off with this price car, but you can survive without it. I have survived without it, and very easily as well. The main thing about the Rimac Nevera is this: it's useful in 4-wheel drive events, and it doesn't handle very well. The handling sucks, all things considered, for a 100 RQ car. That being said, it has a ridiculously high top speed, a low 0 to 60, and it is probably the best dragster in the entire game. And you know, I completely get that, okay? But we have so many events where the Rimac Nevera isn't key in. It's either rear wheel drive, it's either slick tires, it's either off-road events, wet, where the Rimac Nevera may not be the best car. And also it's a 2021 car, and 2021 car, I feel like until this day still has a disadvantage in the game, because Hutch likes to do like 2018s, like specific years, like 2018s, 2016s, or just 2010s as a decade. I mean, when you think about it, right? When you think about the dailies, the only daily you can really use the Nevera in would be 2-seaters and 4-wheel drive. right? There's a 2010 daily you can't even use it in, you know. So I feel like, yes, it's about time where HUD started incorporating more 2020 events, 2021, 2022. There are more and more cars in that category now, but the Remake Nevera, and also it's from Croatia, right? If we have a French event, it's out. If we have any country specific event that isn't rest of the world, the car is out. So personally, I don't think I'm missing out too much on the Nevera. I mean, I'm still missing out, but not as much, where the pain is so great, I have to put it under great value, if you know what I mean. Okay, next one, the Vauxhall Firenze Baby Bertha. I think for most people, it's collecting dust because it's a pretty weak epic out of the Motorsport collection. Outside of that, the only time where it hurts not having this, because this is another prize card that I don't have. Christmas collection was a mess for me. The only painful reason for not having this is when there's Vauxhall ×5 in clubs and there's, you know, nothing but dry events, which usually is 66% of the time because there's always going to be one off-road section. So really only on Vauxhall Day in clubs does it, you know, hurt me not having this. But outside of that, this is a card that I'll never ever want to use or ever think of using or ever need to use. All right, moving on is the Spiker. Okay, the Alfa Romeo. Okay, the Aston Martin 177. It's a okay car. It's kind of like the Jaguar TWR in some regard, where it has a really high top speed, really good MRA, but the Aston Martin 177 does handle better. I'm gonna say it has its moments. The main reason for this is because when you think of Aston Martin legendaries, there are really only two that are the best. It's this or the Vulcan. And the Vulcan, I think we can all agree, is either great value or provides value. The 177 is always second best in an Aston Martin event. And if the RQ limit is a bit more liberal and you can use higher RQ cars, the Aston Martin 177 is one of the best cars to use, and because of that, I will say it has its moments. Okay, the Jaguar XJ220, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people like this car, I know there's a cult following for this car, and I also understand it's from the 90s, but it's known for its MRA, right? It's known for the good MRA and the high top speed, but I'm sorry, no matter what happens, I would rather choose the Yellowbird, and everybody has the Yellowbird as well, or at least everyone has access to winning the Yellowbird. The Jaguar is never going to be as good as the Yellowbird, and because of that, it's a car that I'm really never going to use. Okay, the Bentley EXP 100 GT. Now, when this car first came out, I gave it a lot of, you know, slack. Well, not slack, the opposite. I gave it a lot of heat, basically, right? Because it was a heavy Bentley boat. I always thought that the RQ was too high. The handling absolutely sucked. I thought, you know, the RQ was inflated because of his drivetrain and the top speed wasn't high enough. But I gotta be honest, I was completely wrong, man. This thing is amazing, you know. So shout out to Canon. I know Canon loves this car. It's a concept, it's a Bentley, and really it truly is great value. And the main thing about the Bentley EXP 100 GT is because the main competitors, when we talk about drag British cars that are capable of beating the beast that is the EXP, are the McLarens, the P1 and maybe the P1 GTR and maybe the Senna, right? But you take the McLarens out, aka put in a British four-wheel drive event or anything in the rain, and this car will make the difference in a win and a loss situation. This thing is ridiculously strong. It has 107 MRA, an incredibly low 0 to 60. The only way I would never use it is maybe a test bowl. Okay, for 95 RQ, 186 miles per hour for a top speed is without a shadow of a doubt atrocious. But I mean, I still don't think the car deserves to be RQ95. To be honest, it would be a great 93 or 92 or 93 for the most part. But at the same time, I do recognize ever since I won this car back in the start of the year, it has been a car that I've been using non-stop, honestly. I get so much value out of this car. It knows what it wants to be at the end of the day. Yeah, I might be a little high on RQ, but honestly, I'm not going to give it any more heat. This thing has been ridiculously useful for me, and it deserves to be great value in my opinion. Lamborghini Urus is also going to be a great value. As it stands till this day, it is still the best high ground clearance SUV 5-seater in the game because the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GTS, something like that, hasn't been released in the Tri-Series yet. And that's the only car that is only going to trump the Lamborghini Urus. So for now, it's still the best in its niche. Great value for sure. Okay, the Nissan. This is an interesting one. I think it's collecting dust, to be completely honest. I know Korn will definitely disagree with me on this one, but to be completely honest, this is a car that I really never use, because the problem is there are epics that handle better, there are epics with higher top speeds, there are epics with lower 0 to 60s, and there are epics with better MRA. To think about it, this Nissan over here is a jack of all trades, master of none kind of car. Not the worst thing in the world, and if you were a newer player, this car is going to save your ass. But like I said, this is my list, and you know, these cars I'm judging in relative to how I play with my garage and with everything else that I have. This Nissan just isn't good enough for me anymore. Well, it actually never was good enough. It's always been stock in my garage, so it's collecting dust. Not completely useless, because it does stand out in some niche areas, but it definitely is collecting dust in my garage. The Peugeot 208 WRX. This is an interesting one because I would have given this great value, like a strong great value, if it retained its off-road tires. But ever since it switched to all-surface tires, I've been using it a lot less. It's still medium ground clearance, it still has a very low 0 to 60, it still handles very well, and it's still going to be great value, but not as strong of a great value as I would have put it if it had off-road tires still. Okay, Rover 220 Coupe Turbo, it's collecting dust. It has its moments, and I feel like because of that I should put it here, but it doesn't have enough moments for it to have moments, if that makes sense. Like, I will use it maybe 2-3 times a year, and that's it. Okay, Renault Sport Laguna BTCC, great value. This is a car that I use literally almost every day. If I had to make this rank in order, this would be at the top of the list. I use my Laguna BTCC almost every single day in clubs, and I know to some people clubs doesn't mean anything to you, but it means a lot to me, and this is my list. And the Laguna BTCC is the best front-wheel drive car in the game for now. Okay, moving on. Okay, Caterham RST V8 Levante. Honestly, it's collecting dust for me. Has great MRA, low 0 to 60, but when you think about it, it is kind of like the Bentley EXP GT, but with a worse 0 to 60 and a way lower top speed. And the Bentley EXP 100 GT already doesn't have a good top speed. So, and then, you know, they're in the same RQ as well, and yes, the Caterham handles better than the Bentley, but the thing is, what is the Caterham? It's got a great MRA, it's got a low 0 to 60, which you consider it a dragster, because as far as Caterhams go, 91 isn't the best, especially now that we're getting cars with base handling stats of like 96, 97, and these are for epics. I mean, we're getting like legendaries, you know, 98. So, I don't know, man. Sorry, not 96, 97 for epics. Those are legendaries. I meant like 92, 93, and then you max them out to 103, 102 for the epics. But yeah, the Caterham RST V8 Levante, sorry. I just don't use it very often, and once again, it's collecting dust in my garage. Ram 1500 Rebel is also collecting dust. As long as it is behind the GMC Sierra, it will always not be useful. Koenigsegg Yamera has its moments. To be honest, ever since I won it, I barely use this car. I use the Jesko Absolute all the time. I use Blossig all the time, and I guess that's also because those cars are maxed. But the Koenigsegg Yamera is really hard to find value out of this car. Once again, it's a lot like the Rimac Nevera, where, you know, it's from a country where it's not the big six in the game. It's in 2021. It has that four-wheel drive niche. And it doesn't handle at the same time, and it's a worse Rimac Nevera, so I have to put it under the Rimac Nevera if anything. It has its moments, but to be completely honest, I don't use the Yamera ever so often at all. Really, I think I have less than like 200 races on the car since I won it. Very sad 100 RQ, to be fair. Alright, Renault Sport RS01. Once again, it has its moments, you know, it will stand out in French events. Not gonna kill any Bugattis unless it's a super twisty event, but then again, there are cars like the Peugeot FAP or the Peugeot 905B, so because of that, it has its moments. Okay, Porsche Cayenne Turbo, I think it has its moments as well. Some people can argue that it should belong and provide value, and yeah, I can see that. The MRA is decent and the handling is good, but at the same time, I've never been pushed to upgrade this car. I have it, and it's been stocked since the day I won it. I've never been in the situation where I need to max it right away, unlike the Renault Sport Laguna BTCC. That was Instamax, okay? But the Porsche, I know it provides value, but I'm okay without it, you know what I mean? Alpha, huh? The Demon, great value, 100% great value. And it's going to stay great value until the Copo Camaro is released. I talked about it yesterday in my prize car video on cars that I want. And like I said, I don't want the Copo Camaro to ever be released because it will make the Demon useless. What the Demon and the Copo Camaro are kind of like the Nevera and the Yamera. As long as the Nevera exists, the Yamera is not going to be the best car. And you know, the Demon still is the best car because the Copo Camaro doesn't exist because nobody has won it yet. So for now, it still provides great value. It's your go-to dragster for American or your go-to dragster for general if you want to save RQ in the legendary range. Aerial Atom V8, it's collecting dust for me. Honestly, here's the thing about the Aerial Atom and the Caterham. In order for those two cars to provide a lot of value to me, I need to invest 6 epics into both of them. In other words, I need to max out the handling. If I cannot max out the handling on the Caterham and the Aerial, all they're going to give me is 94 handling. And all they're known for are twisty situations, and 94 isn't enough for a twisty situation. I need to invest epics to max out the handling. So those two cars collecting dust. Okay, Nissan Skyline, Calsonic. Coin's gonna hate me for this once again, but it's also collecting dust. I want to use it. I love the car, but the reality is I can't even remember the last time I used it. It could have been 2 months ago. It could have been 3 months ago. I don't know. Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, same thing, honestly. It's collecting dust for me. Once again, I know I'm being a little strict, but like I said, this is my personal list, and once again, I have better Lamborghinis to use out there. 91 handling, again, you know, very disappointing stat. The MRI is okay, I want to say maybe even good. 90 is pretty alright, top speed is good. It's just that they're cars that are better. They're Italian cars that are better. I have a Max Alfa Romeo Pro car. I have the Zonda Revolution, and if I had to use only 4-wheel drive Lamborghinis, then yeah, it would be the best one. You know what? I would say it has its moments because I kind of thought about it. 4-wheel drive Lamborghinis or 4-wheel drive Italian cars is just this in the Centenario. Okay, fair play. It has its moments. All right, Infiniti Q50 El Rouge. It has its moments. So I feel like I'm being a bit too generous putting it in it has its moments, but it is one of the few legendary prize cars that you see over here where Hutch has made multiple events curated just for it to fit. And I feel like that's because I've been bashing on it very, very often. It being saloon, it having amazing MRA, medium ground clearance, that's all good, you know? But the 0 to 60 in handling is trash, absolutely trash. But like I said, it has its moments, but that's mainly because Hutch makes events that make this car the best, you know what I mean? But it has its moments. Okay, Porsche 911 GT1 Evo, I think it provides value. It handles well, it handles strongly, has a great top speed, a decent 0 to 60, handles really well, and good MRA. I would give it provides value, definitely knows what it wants to be. Okay, Subaru Impreza 22B, Escudo Pikes Peak, definitely great value. One of the few cars I would actually rate above the Laguna BTCC. What I want in the Escudo is what I needed in the Peugeot 208 WRX. The answer for that is off-road tires. Off-road tires is the most important thing, and that's why when I finally got my tokens at the start of PL15, I told myself I'm gonna max the Escudo and not the 208, even though I have both. Off-road tires is way more important, so definitely one of the best cars of the year so far. Volvo yeah, you know what, it's a meme. I don't want to disrespect the meme. It's collecting dust. Okay, Nissan, I think it has its moments over here. And Ultra M97 handling is a very strong, you know, stat. It ain't no Lotus 340R, and it definitely ain't no Zenith either, but it's a decent car. It has its moments. I like how I called this, it has its moments. It's the most accurate naming for a tier. The Vittel, this one, I mean, once again, it's very similar to the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, so I'm just gonna put them together. I think that's fair. Alright, Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, collecting dust. I'm sorry, Wyatt. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you, Wyatt. I'm sorry. Chevrolet events. That's it. That's literally it. If it's American Dream, you know, other players, not me, because I don't have the SCG, can use the SCG. I can use my Max Vipers, Max GTSR, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, man, but the Corvette ZR1, I don't get any value out of it. I do remember having it, though, because I am an American collector, so for me, it's collecting dust. Roof CTR3 Club Sport is also collecting dust. Once again, used to be a great car back in the day. It used to be considered a car of amazing MRI and top speed back in the day, but the level of what makes an amazing car keeps going up and up when it comes to top drives. 236 miles per hour was amazing, in the days of top drives before Koenigsegg. But now that we have Koenigsegg, 236 is just what you expect from an RQ8990 car. So yeah, it's collecting dust. The Primera is gonna go to great value. I would say just under the Laguna and the Bentley. For the same reason, great MRA, great car for its niche, front wheel drive. When you think about front wheel drive, 1, 2, those two cars over there. I max both of them and I use them every day in clubs. Whenever I use the Laguna, I'm gonna use the Primera as well. Impreza Group A, I'm gonna put it in provides value. It would be in great value if it had high ground clearance still. It doesn't. It's not my go-to car for the motocross anymore. It went down to medium, still really good, but because it's not high ground clearance anymore, I'm gonna bring it down one from great value to provides value. The Subaru Impreza WRX, it's collecting dust. I would put it in collecting dust. Maybe it has its moments because there are a lot of, yeah, I'll put it there because the Evos went up. The Evo 10, the Evo 9, they went up to legendary, so it is one of the better cars now. So I will say it'll have its moments. All right, Donkavort DAGTO. This one's an interesting one again because I think it is actually a better version of the Caterham and the Ariel, mainly because it handles better, but not really that, honestly, because if you put all those three cars in a twisty situation, the Caterham and the Ariel, although it's one handling less, is still going to beat the Donkavort. But why I'm putting the Donkavort up one is because it is 5 RQ cheaper to use. A little bit more of a value. I'll put it in. It will have its moment. Okay, Peugeot T16, best car given out this year. Great value, number 1. And then we have the Mercedes C11. Also, I'm going to say provide value. I want to put it in great value, but then again, when it comes to the shorter drags, half mile, quarter mile, then I would put it in the, when it comes to shorter drags, half mile, quarter mile, I would use the Charger 3, right? So this is a car that I would use for the longer drag, so because of that, I'll put it provides value. If it was the best car to use for quarter mile, or at least 2 of the 3 track sets, so half mile and 1 mile, I'll put it in great value. But the Charger 3 is still a very competitive car against the Mercedes-Benz. Okay, moving on, the Audi R8 rear-wheel drive. An interesting one, this is very new, so there's not much to judge about it. I would say it will provide value. You can't go wrong with an Epic that is capable of hitting 100 handling. 89 MRI, which is good for an Audi, to be fair. Over 200 miles per hour for a top speed and a very low 0 to 60. It might even be great value. It's just that there's not been a lot of events where I could use and abuse the Audi R8 rear-wheel drive just yet. But it is a strong car. I'm still really surprised it was given out to most of us in the Expo campaign. Really, really strong. It will provide value. I know that. I max it for a reason. If not, I'll have egg on my face. Okay, Nissan GTR GT500. I'm gonna say great value, honestly. It kind of is what the Renault Sport RS01 is, but without all the competition. The Renault Sport has to fight against the 905B and the HDI Fat. The GTR GT500 as it stands right now is the best twisty car, it's better than the Furai in, the less twisty situations. If it's a slalom, the Furai would still win, but outside of that, the Nissan GTR is a really, really strong car. Great MRA as well. I'm going to say that it definitely provides value. Great value. Huh? And then the last two are going to be, well, to be fair, I'm not going to ever forget the Lycan, I think, but I'm going to put it there. And the main reason why I don't think I'm going to forget the Lycan is because whenever I want to think back of a crap prize card that was given out, I'll probably use the Lycan as an example. Kind of like if you asked me before the Lycan, what was the crap prize card that was given out? My go-to answer, literally, would be the Bentley Onodier. That's what this Lycan is. I will remember it because it was so bad, not because it's good. And then we have the Audi Quattro S1 and the Mitsubishi Lancer. The Mitsubishi Lancer, great value still. Although it's not an Epic, I still think it's great value. I might be a little biased with that one. I freaking love this car. I've been through so much of it. And the Audi Quattro S1, I think it will have its moments. There are better off-road tire cars out there now. That's just the reality of things. It used to be one of the best in the game. I'm talking about the Audi. It used to be one of the best in the game. It used to be one of the best in the game, but obviously with new updates, with better cars, it's moved down the pecking order of things. Still, it will have its moments, especially Audi events and clubs when there's off-road, still the only best one there. But definitely, I would say no higher than the rank that I put it in. But anyway, guys, that is my assessment of every single prize card that we have received in 2022. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of the picks. Was I too harsh? Was I too lenient? Let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac.